This segment highlights some of the steps involved with the process of tanning leather, as well as some background information on Chahin Industries. Chahin Industries employs 150 workers. This includes the office staff, supervisors, drivers, mechanics, tanners, and tannery employees. The company was founded in 1937 by Angel Chahin. His son of the same name now runs the plant, which has relocated from its original location to the location seen on this DVD. Beginning our tour right outside the tannery, you will see large portions of bags. These bags contain the extracts that will go into the solution for the tanning process that will take place inside the building. There are more than 100 different chemicals that go into the various leathers. Here is the water tower that supplies the tannery with its water. This is the chemical lab where all the raw materials are tested as they receive them before being used in production. This is a very important step in the tanning process to ensure all of the materials are correct before any leather has been treated. The hides you see here are salted and ready for the first step in the tanning process. Here is a hide the way it looks before anything has been done to it in the tanning process. Here we see some of the hide's bellies being trimmed before they begin the tanning process. Some of the bellies are not tanned here and are sold to other tanneries as is. The first step in the tanning process begins with this machine. The leather is soaked in this vat to resemble its natural state, then goes through a process called liming, which destroys the hair and prepares the hide for tanning. After the sides have been in here for 3 days, they go to the fleshing machine, which will clean the backs of the hides. Once this process is complete and the leather is run through a scudding machine which removes the hair roots, the leather then goes to the splitting machine which will level the hide. In other words, splitting the hides down to one thickness. This is important as the thickest part of the hide, near the head, may be 18 to 24 ounces thick. As soon as the leather runs through the machine, it is cut into 2 sides of leather. The process shown here is known as stamping. This is a way of sorting the side out for what type of leather it will be made into. A lot number is stamped on the tail, so they are able to track the leather in quality control. After this, the leather is moved back to these vats to be de-limed. De-liming takes chemicals out of the hide that were put into the hide to remove hair during the liming process. At this point, the hides are hung on the frame and put into the tanning pits. There are generally 120 hides per pit at one time. They will be in the tanning pits for a total of 5 to 6 weeks depending on the type of leather. There is a continuous movement of liquids through the pits to ensure the hides accept the tanning solutions. It is checked daily by one of the foremen to ensure consistency by tracking the temperature of the solution, the pH of the solution, and the density to ensure a consistent quality finished leather. This is the samming machine, which will take the water out of the hide before it goes into one of the drums later. This is the very next step after the leather has been removed from the tanning pits. Once they are done being run through the samming machine, they go into the tanning drums for veg tanning as well as the oiling drums. There are different ingredients and times for the different sides of leather. Here are some of the many pallets of leather waiting to be put into the drums. Here are several pallets of chrome tanned leather that has tanned for 3 days in chrome tanning drums. They are not soaked in pits like veg tanned leathers. After that, they are veg tanned for 2 days in oiling drums to produce latigo leather. This is also known as veg retanned leather. Once the leather is taken out of the drums, they are taken to the shaving machine, which will shave the leather down to the same thickness. It then goes to the setting out machine, which takes the wrinkles out of the leather. At this point, the leather is ready to begin the drying process. The sides are hung in rooms for 5 to 6 days at a controlled temperature. An average of 300 sides fit into each room at one time. The leather is rotated from room to room until the drying process is complete and they are ready to go to the warehouse for final preparations. Once the leather arrives in the warehouse, which is located on the other side of the street close to the main offices, the sides will be treated again by running through the spray booth that is spraying the leather with a finish. Not all of the sides that come into the warehouse get sprayed by this machine. This is for any leather that does not come in a natural color. Once the finish is applied, it goes through another drying process for about 2 minutes. After the leather has been sprayed, it is put on the toggling machine, which is another way of drying the spray onto the leather. The leather is then measured and stacked on pallets. There are 150 sides of leather per pallet.